Uh-oh, which state has the most conspiracy theorists? Hello, this is Chart GPT today. Of course, we asked this question, which state has the most conspiracy theorists? First of all, what is conspiracy theories that are out there in the U.S. anyway? Obviously, the JFK assassination, the deep states, they claim this is a conspiracy. Aliens in Area 51, 9/11 was an inside job, climate change, Illuminati is a secret control of the world, chemtrails, and moon landing. Those are some of the top ones there. You can see the percentage that JFK is the most believed there. Of course, there is some evidence that there's still a lot of people that believe that there's something going on that we're not being totally told. But it kind of bleeds into which are conspiracy theories and which are not. What this chart is telling you here is, like for instance here, the Republicans believe that there is a Satan-worshiping elites who run child sex trafficking ring. Of course, the Democrats don't believe that. Independents are kind of pretty large. And of course, is that really a conspiracy? We've seen a lot of, the Epstein cases, NXIVM. So a lot of this stuff may not necessarily be a conspiracy theory after all. Maybe that makes me a conspiracy theorist. Anyway, and here's the deep state with working against Trump. A lot of people still believe that, and there might be some truth to that. And one on the COVID. But the point about this chart is you can see that if you're a Democrat, supposedly you're not a conspiracy theorist. If you're a Republican, they might say, well, these are not conspiracy. These are actually true things that need to be looked into. Kind of bleeding onto this political side of this, here's a chart on how many Americans have heard of QAnon, which is interesting about this. Democrats are more likely to know of QAnon than Republicans themselves. So the QAnon theory is mostly being run by Democrats, not Republicans, even though it's supposed to be a far right-wing conspiracy theorist. So that's quite interesting. Maybe they just love to hammer Republicans with this, even though that's not really true. So it gets into this, what is really a conspiracy theory. Here's a kind of an interesting chart here. This is the proportion of U.S. adults believe that each group is likely to work in secret against the rest of us over time. And when you look up here in terms of political affiliation, Republicans have risen a little bit in their conspiracy beliefs, but they've actually gone up less. The Democrats are actually more of a conspiracy theorist than the Republicans, which is probably the opposite of what you might think. Anyway, let's get into which state. Daily Mail had something out here. Here's what they said. Alaska, according to their, is the top conspiracy state. Colorado, Wyoming, Washington, and Hawaii, which is interesting. Those are not necessarily deep red, except for maybe Wyoming. So those are mostly blue states, according to this. Some of the, of course, it's not. I don't know if it's such. It depends on what you think is a conspiracy theory. So here's the least conspiracy theorist. So, but this is just talking about flat earthers. Flat Earth, I think, is a pretty understood conspiracy theory that is kind of wacky. Others maybe not so much. So we did a little bit of our own work here on this one. Here's what we came up. What we did is we looked at Google Trends in the U.S. and we looked at terms like MK Ultra, 9/11 inside job, chemtrails, assassination of JFK, flat Earth, moon landing, and UFOs. And what's interesting, you do tend to find the same states appear on the list. So we did some weighting and stuff. And our take is that Oregon, in fact, was in our research is the most. Wyoming is up there, West Virginia, New Mexico, Kansas, Arkansas, and Arizona. So there is some overlapping there a little bit. But it is kind of interesting how, now some of these you may not think are conspiracy theories, and that's why you have to kind of think maybe these are not as necessarily a negative thing. So that's quite interesting. Give us your take in terms of whether or not you think which state tends to have the most conspiracy theories. That might be interesting, and whether or not you think that necessarily all of these are necessarily, maybe it's the way that polling is taken. So that's one point. And also take a look at the AI and see which kind of human attributes cause us to be more conspiratorial than not. Some people think that we're just being more inquisitive and curious. So give us your take there. Look at the post link and then reference links in the description box on the post link. And don't forget to subscribe.